Giving all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth and all truth and sincerity and diligence. Shalom. And this video, I'm just, you know, every so often you get these, these Israelites that like to, I guess I don't know, will the Lord bug them out, and they get to talking about how you can have some heathens, that's going to be delivered salvation, all right, which we know according to the scriptures that's totally off, all right, but it come back around and, we must, it's our duty to mark them that would cause division, okay? So, just through the spirit, Lord willing, this is edifying. But, they claim that you're going to have some heathen, right? That and then I'm specifically speaking about Deacon Hakah and Hassad. They I listened to their little video, and the only heathen nation I remember them bringing out is they would speak. He made it like a little joke talking about, oh, you're Edomite, walk off a long cliff, take a long walk off a short cliff. That, but the only nation that he said was Edom. For some reason, Jake, it, it's something about Edom and Jake, man. Okay, but we know through the Spirit that that's false. So you first have to understand what true salvation is. True salvation is never ever being able to go off in the eyesight of the Lord again. That is true salvation. Okay. Now, physically, of course, salvation is you'll be in a situation, a dangerous situation, and He delivered you from that. Like, say you're driving in your car and you almost get hit by an 18 wheeler, and the Lord delivers you from that because, hey, just something miraculous happened in that. The 18 wheeler go the other way. You're delivered from that situation. Like when these ICBM nuclear missiles start to fly on Babylon the Great, the elect is going to be delivered out this situation simultaneously, entering into that new body, all right, that can never go off, you know. That is true salvation, is whenever you will never go off in the eyesight of the Lord, all right. So I'll actually start with that. This is Hebrews 8 and 8. And this is what true salvation is. This is Hebrews 8 and 8. It says, we'll start at 7. It says, for if that first covenant have been flawless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Okay. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. That is salvation, right? Well, I'm going to say this is who he's talking to. He's talking to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah, basically making up the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. He's going to make a new covenant with them, only with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Okay. So this new covenant says what? Not according to the covenant I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. See? So it's going to be in our minds, written in our hearts, to where, we're not going to ever be able to go off. Let me see something real quick. Let me look up this word. Uh, Slacky. Look at this word. I just want to look at. I never looked it up. I just want to look it up. It says D N O I. All right. The mind as a faculty of understanding, feeling, desire, understanding, mind, spirit, way of thinking and feeling thoughts, either good or bad. So our spirits are gonna be renewed. You know, we're gonna be restored to the days of old, man. All right, to where our understanding is going to be, you know, first nature, to, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The law, statutes, and commandments are going to be first nature to us. Okay, so he's going to write, he's going to write, he's going to put his laws into our mind, right, and write them in our hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Okay, you see. So yeah, he's gonna write it within our hearts, within our minds, so we can never go off again. That is true salvation. All right, that it that's true salvation. We can really close the book right there, but it just seems to be that Jake skip over this. All right, think about it. To you will never be able to sin again. You'll never be able to have a Babylonian thought. You'll never be able to, displease the Lord again, right? That's a beautiful feeling, you know? So, no, no heathen will enter into that new covenant, man. All right? Because he said he's going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Jacob. He didn't say and a small fraction of heathens. Nah, not at all. Right? Because the heathens are definitely going into captivity. Now, it's see like, and I heard him also saying like some heathens was shown the Lord used. I believe it was he used some heathens, or heathens were favored. Well, however it go, like right, you had heathens that the Lord used, like Cyrus. Does that mean that he's gonna, receive salvation? No. He just did what the Lord wanted him to do. Okay? Shit, you had heathens, who that was? Nebuchadnezzar? What that is, if I can remember. I wanna say Daniel 3, right? So Nebuchadnezzar, right? Nebuchadnezzar, see, right. He wanted them to, worship him, right? Look, it says he set up a. This is Daniel 3:1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon, and he wanted all to worship it, right? But then look, uh, they accused the Jews, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And what happened? He threw him in the furnace, man. Okay, he did this. But also, look, check this out. Mm, so greed, days, king for life. So check this out. Um, Give me a second. Here's signed the writing and decree. All right, so look, this is Daniel 6 and 9. It says, Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and decree. Now, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, and Daniel was shown favor. Look, Daniel was shown favor because, real quick, let me jump up here. Uh, 6 and 1. And it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these three presidents, whom Daniel was first, the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Okay. This Daniel, and then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Okay, so Darius, I mean, yeah, he said, he was in favor of Daniel, but look what happened. Check this out. Um, Verse 10. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chambers towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplications before his powers. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decrees. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of the king, O king, shall be cast in the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alter it not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regarded not thee, O king, nor decree that thou hast signed, but make it his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, he was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him to the lions den. See, this is what he still did. He still put Daniel in the lions den. All right. Even though Daniel was favored by the king, he still put him in the lions den. So, what are you niggas is saying? Oh, because check this out. It could be a Moabite, right, that have shown a brother, some favor in this society. But what the scripture says about Moab, uh, this is Deuteronomy 23:3. And the Amorite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation. They shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. See, it doesn't make sense. You guys don't make sense at all, man. Ain't no heathen gonna reap salvation, bro. Just because these you have a heathen that show you favor, man. All right, cause it's heathens that show me favor all the time. Does that mean that they're gonna reap salvation? Why is it the fact that when it comes to Jake, we're all the same, but when it comes to these heathens, oh, they're not all like that. You niggas is gay. This is Revelations 13:10. It says, He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So all these nations had us in captivity, and they're going to go into captivity. All right, you can't make we're not making loopholes for no heathen, man. Now you will have heathens, all right, when the kingdom established, you're gonna have some heathens that's gonna be, gonna be straight. It's gonna be set up, because of their role that they're gonna play in kingdom. You're gonna have in the kingdom. Because you're not gonna have any Hebrew slaves, man. You're not gonna have any Israelite slaves. You're gonna have men that's gonna be set up to where, look, this person is over this. You gonna make sure this run well, and but it ain't gonna be the fact that, oh, hey, uh, this heathen gonna have a body like an Israelite. Nah, that ain't happening, man. These heathens are gonna be on a very low level because they're not gonna have the law, statutes, commandments written in their inward parts. They are still gonna transgress. You see, this is why we're gonna rule them with the rod of iron. All right, because they're going into captivity regardless. Because we know, according to the book of John, John 4. John 4 and 22. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Now we know that it's supposed to be Israelites right there. Why? Because hey, you under the Romans you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in captivity, but salvation is for the whole nation of Israel, starting with the elect, okay, of the nation of Israel. All right. Because when he said what that is, 24, Matthew 24 and 30, 31. And he shall send his angel, 30. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and with great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of trumpet. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So we know that the elect can only consist of, brothers from the various tribes of the nation of Israel, which proves that is Isaiah 45 and 4. It says, for Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have I have even called thee by name, I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. So the elect is going to consist of men from the 12 tribes of Israel, man. 112,000 men from each tribe, man, which makes up the 144,000. Okay, so it ain't gonna be no heathen that's gonna be, reaping salvation, man, be getting a new body. All right, ain't no heathen gonna be judges the 12 tribes of Israel, man. You know, that's not gonna happen, man. They're gonna be totally in subjection. Okay, um, Jeremiah 30 and 16, and this right here, this sums it all up. It says, therefore all they that devour thee, okay, shall be devoured. All thine adversaries, right? Every one of them shall go into captivity. Every one of them shall go into captivity. Okay? And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So it says, they that spoil thee, right? Okay. So we'll go to First Maccabees 2. It's First Maccabees 2 and 10. What nation had not a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So what nation has not, dealt with Israel treacherously, man? And whenever nations go into slavery, he don't. Oh, I'm gonna put you to the side, and because you were so good to to my people, you didn't do this, so I'm gonna just let you make it. No, whenever the nation of Israel went into captivity, we went into captivity together. You know why? What proves that? Because in Jeremiah 17, the Lord told Jeremiah what? 17 and 4, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage. But check this out. Was not Jeremiah ordained before he was formed in the womb to be a prophet of the Lord? But the Lord still told him, thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So even Jeremiah went in captivity. So we gonna have some heathens that's just because, hey man, I gave you this job, or they gave you a break here, and hey, you Moab or Elam or Ishmael, he gave you a discount, but you know whatever. So now the Lord gonna cut him a break? Nah, man. The Lord deal with the whole nation. So everybody of the other nations will go into captivity under the Israelites. It ain't gonna be nobody that's gonna slither through the cracks. Okay, it ain't gonna happen like that, man. So stop the madness, bro. You're adding and you're taking away from the scriptures. Okay, you're going completely off, man. All right. So that's really all I got on that, man. Lord willing, you are edified. Shalom.